Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is, baby. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for the notifications of the uploads. Boom! Listen, if you're a returnee, baby, then you already know what it is, baby. It's the mineral gang, you understand? You ain't got the minerals, baby. Listen, don't play around with me, you understand? Listen, don't play around with me, you understand? Listen, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out. If you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, Chile, get out. Gege. You're mad, you're lean. We're going to be talking to you guys about Married at First Sight. Yes, we're going to be giving you guys a quick summary of the episode, and then we're going to go into different... I think this was a great episode in terms of just looking at the disparity between, I guess, Meka, Michael, Taylor, Brandon, Zach and Mindy in comparison to Austin and Jess and Derek and Katie. So, I mean, just overall this episode, I think the main focus again was really going to be Taylor, Brandon, and Meka, Michael, and Zach and Mindy. And I'll just start as a summary, just start off with Meka and Michael. I think the main thing that I kind of saw, which I guess obviously in terms of improvement, I want to focus on the very last scene where they were talking one-to-one, where Michael was talking about how he feels like he failed and therefore he's taking his ring off. One thing I realized about Michael is there's I don't want to say, I want to say it, self-pity. There's a self-pity which is like, there's a over-criticalization of himself. There is a perfectionist in himself, and that is causing this dichotomy within himself to be able to behave the way he wants to behave. He's a great communicator, but being a great communicator in terms of communicating how you feel doesn't always mean that what you're thinking is being communicated correctly. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can orate very well, but necessarily you can't you can't collate your thoughts and feelings in a way that you need to be able to dissect it to make the person understand. Do you get me? Like, your actual communication is fine, you can talk, but you don't know how to decipher these things in your mind to be able to communicate to the other person. Now, I believe in terms of Michael and Meka, one of the things I saw was that Meka is very direct, and I think that also brings an apprehension on Michael's behalf, because when you're struggling to get your ideas into check to then begin to communicate that, you don't need somebody who's so direct, because when they're so direct and so on you, you're beginning to feel pressure. Right? But again, I'm not giving Michael an excuse, because what I would say is that as much as that Meka, is direct and on his case when it comes to dealing with his emotions, he had time away to be able to decipher these points. In the morning, when he didn't come down to the group, he took time out to come and decipher his feelings and decipher how he felt after the argument, etc., etc. And then after also, before they got to the part where he said that was the reason why he took his ring off, etc., etc. He had time then to decipher the thoughts, get it in order, whether you've got to write it down or whatever, so that you can present this idea to the other person correctly. So that for me is a big thing. I think the biggest thing they're gonna have to really I think the biggest thing that they're gonna be suffering with is the two ideas, which is evidently Michael, and this is why I say that last episode about the fact that Michael definitely did talk about sex and time frames. He's still doing it now. He's just doing it in a more roundabout way. Because even when they were talking about times, when will you feel more comfortable, about the relationship, which we'll talk about more in the next dilution of when I'm talking about them specifically, he was alluding to talking about when you be ready for this particular aspect of, and I don't want to lose, I know we're being friends, but I don't want to lose that aspect of us trying to get together, And actually it was more about the sex rather than actually the relationship, because she had to correct him and say, listen, look, what makes us more than friends is not the sex part, you understand? So even she was clocking the energy. So I think for them to, I think they're going to have to find a way to communicate, they're going to have to find a way to communicate to each other. And I hate even saying communicate to each other, because like when you're in school and the teacher says, both of you need to find a way to get past this. I didn't do anything. I haven't done anything to make us feel like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, me just being there and getting bullied, it's not a thing that both of you need to find out a way to do. No, you need to stop him or stop her. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want to just do here, which is like, Michael needs to sort himself out. Like, on a realist team, you got to sort yourself out. You can't be making ultimatums about sex. And that is not the only way you're able to decipher whether this is a relationship past friends. Like, look, before you guys even have sex with somebody, you know whether this person's feeling you or not. Like most times, we know whether somebody wants you more than friends. You understand? So there's an intention, there's an energy, there is a deliberate type of conversations that you guys have, which doesn't need to have physical sex to let you know that you want to be more than just friends. So that needs to be communicated to Michael. This is where I think the experts need to get involved, because I don't think he understands that fully. Because like I said, there are going to be sides that he cannot see because of the way he's grown up, etc., etc. Maybe the way that he understands women, because he's grown up around women, maybe he thinks they are this particular way, and it's come across a different type of woman, and it's kind of confusing. Do you understand? That could be also an issue. So there's a lot that needs to be played over there. I think also then, I'll leave the Meka and Michaels. I want to talk a bit more, like I said, as a summary. I want to talk more a little bit as well about Zach and Mindy. I think one thing that I saw with Zach and Mindy was Zach's obviously very hungry for Mindy to really be confident in herself and confident in her slay. And I get it, because, you know, I think the type of guy that he is, he needs a woman that is going to be comfortable in her skin, because he's going to be around different types of women who are very beautiful, very sexy, sassy, you know, are going to be very attractive. And you need a woman that's secure. Any amount of insecurity is going to kill this relationship, really and truly, because he's around this type of women all the time. And I don't think he's the kind of person that wants to flaunt that, but I think I saw his understanding in the sense of, I need you to be strong. And that's why he emphasized about the confidence, and then kept on encouraging her. Listen, look, I love the confidence. I love the confidence. I love the confidence. I love the confidence. He wants that confidence so that he knows that, listen, you're secure, because when I'm doing my thing, I can't have you being insecure. I know where it ends. And maybe that's what he's previously had with different females, right? But then on the flip side, I've got to say that he talks a lot of nonsense sometimes. Like, sometimes he just goes round in circles, and it's like, bro, what are you saying? Like, what are you really saying? Because I have no clue. At 2 points, he was rambling on in 2 different sections of this episode, and I had no clue what you were talking about. I didn't have a clue what you were talking about. I was like, bro, I've lost you. Like, I've lost you. And even she said as well, like, she didn't know what the frick he was saying, because it was like, bro, like, what point are you trying to make here? And I've not noticed about Zach is he likes to go really deep. And that's what they said, obviously the friend said as well. He's thinking about both sides, right? And this is why being able to decipher your thoughts and be able to communicate it is an absolutely intrinsic skill that requires a touch of panache. You understand? Because oftentimes, like, for instance, when I do this channel, a lot of people say to me, oh, like, the way you break it down. And it's like, see, a lot of people think like me, right? A lot of people think the exact same way I think. It's just the oration of it that it gets lost in translation. And it's the ability to break it down to make you understand. The same way, like, when I was in school, there's certain teachers that are, when they've got every teacher's got knowledge, but not all the teachers could communicate that to you in a way that made you go, wow. You know when you met certain teachers that when you met them, you're like, rah, I get the thing now. I actually get the thing, sir. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, sir. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like Zach is missing. Is the ability to be able to, just like Michael, ability to kind of break down what you're really thinking and what's really going on. He understands that, like when he was in the bed talking to Mindy, he understood her point of view. He understood what she could be feeling and what he's feeling about, you know, I know you haven't potentially let it go, etc., etc. He was getting all into the emotion of everything as well, trying to explain everything. That was cool, but he wasn't able, then he rambled on, because then he was like, he wasn't able to land the point. You understand? So he got it, but then wasn't able to land, and that becomes a problem too. If you're not able to explain, like, those things that you're thinking in your head, it becomes difficult to be able to narrate that and break it down to an individual to make them understand. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? So I think for Mindy as well was that I really appreciate her, because, like, she's really trying, bruv. Listen, you tell me that I'm not attracted to you, fam, I think I got to walk, cuz what do you mean you're not attracted to man? You understand? I'm a sexy dude, bruv. I'm a handsome dude. I'm saucy, blood. You understand? Man's a finesse thing. I'm fine, cuz. And you're going to tell me that man's not attracted? Like, of course I'm going to be hurt. You understand? So we have to think of it in that way, like, and she decided to go, oh, I'm going to push it forward. And I'm going to continue. And I really rate that, and I commend that as well, because it takes a lot of energy to do that. So yeah, I love the fact that they were doing the fist bumps and all those kind of things, and, you know, having a bit of banter. And she's seen that he's lightening up, and, you know, when they went on their little trip as well, you know, that was nice to see them kind of just talking, catching jokes, bantering. You know, there was a funny part as well, where the person who was driving the boat, like, made a funny face, like, But we'll show that in the next review when we do with them. But yeah, it's a live voting. It's a live voting. In regards to like Derek and Katie, I'll come on to Terry and Brandon. Derek and Katie, I mean, they're fine. I mean, I love the fact that they're so cute, so adorable. And you know what, obviously Katie's more advanced than Derek. And Derek will catch up. And when he does catch up, there's going to be a rude awakening for Katie. So she should enjoy it now. Because when people catch up and they're no longer naive, brother, I'm telling you, it's a wild thing out here. But there was also an interesting scene where I think when they were in the group on the sunbed, and Katie was saying like, he's like a bigger, nerdier version of me. And she had to kind of like quickly dress it up like, no, not like that. But do you know what I mean? And and I think sometimes when people say certain things, they don't really think it through, like, and how it will come about, like, because it's the delivery, it's how you say it, it's a tone, everything like that. So when she said that, I was like, ooh, because what Jess and Austin do is precisely what you expect people to do. Like, if I'm a nerd and you're a nerd, innit? I may be even be nerdier than you, but you wouldn't say I'm nerdy. Just say, look, we're both nerds, you know, like we're both nerds. Yeah. And I love the fact that, you know what, he's even more into this kind of stuff than I am. Like, do you know what I mean? Because nerd has a certain connotation to it. Do you understand? Nerd itself is not a bad word. Nerd itself is not even really an insult, but it's the connotations with the fact that the history that comes with the insulting people who are nerds. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was just the delivery that was low. But I mean, them two are fine, man. They're doing good. Like I said, I'm still waiting on this ex thing. Have she sorted it out? Has she told him? I don't know, cause if that comes out, that's a mad thing. That you were still texting your ex on your wedding day, on your pre-wedding day. Of course, man's gonna feel a certain way when he finds out, fam. So the longer this gets kept off, you get me? Because the man's going to watch it back. So you have to think about the damage that's going to get done. He's going to watch this back and then be thinking, rah, this was happening when I didn't know. Like, do you know what I mean? But maybe it's just me. Austin and Jess, well, I love them, man. Do you know what I love about Austin and Jess? At one point, I think Austin said, you know what? On the wedding day, he was so happy because it's like, it's the first, like, I could be me. I could just be me. I don't have to do anything. And like, everybody wants this type of person where you can just be you. That's what I want in a relationship. I do not want a relationship with somebody who has to check me at every moment about me being me, fam. Look, me, yeah, I like to sing outside, I dance outside, I'm energetic, sometimes I'm quiet, I love doing these reviews, I love doing YouTube, I love being creative, I've got my own fears and insecurities that I'm dealing with at the same time too. Like, do you know what I mean? But I just want to be me. I remember one time I was in a certain situation, and I was in a club, and the person told me like, like when you dance, just like, and I was like, what? I'm making you feel away when I'm doing my thing. I said, oh man. Like, do you know what I mean? And from then I said to myself, I ain't never going to be in a relationship where I'm being closeted. Where I'm being in a place where I'm being closed in and where I feel like I can't be me. So the fact that Austin said he can be him, that is a big thing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should try to strive for somebody who will allow them to be them and not have to change that. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be worshipped. We just want to be able to be free. You understand? There's a big difference. Talking about Taylor and Brandon as well. I mean, I love Taylor and Brandon. I think they are aesthetically looking so good, man. They look like just two sweet muffins, man. Do you know what I mean? But Taylor is a loving girl. And listen, let me tell you something. Someone get me a Taylor. Because, fam, if I get a Taylor, I'm going to treat it right. You understand? I'm going to treat it right. I'm going to do it right. You get me? So, for me, Taylor is an amazing woman. You know what I'm saying? I just love black women. You know what I mean? You know how I am. I love black women. And Taylor's such a beautiful girl and very bubbly, energetic, and, you know, just free. And I love that. The thing that I saw was obviously with Brandon. I mentioned this in the first time that we saw them talking, that there's a deepness to Brandon that he's not sharing. And until he shares that, like, there's going to be problems, isn't it? And even in the last episode, I think, where I didn't do a review for it, you know, there's a big thing around Brandon and his communication. Like this, and do you know what is funny? It's Brandon and Michael who, in their when the family gave their bios of them, that there was negatives in them about the way they discuss and the way they joke and the way they communicate. It was their families that made the negative aspects in their little bios thing, right? So I was expecting madness to happen. So with the Brandon thing, I'm not surprised. Do you understand? Now I know they've divorced in later on the line anyway, but I'm not surprised by the behavior of Brandon, because at the end of the day, when you're not sharing who you truly are, this is going to come out. Now he made an excuse about the fact that he had a panic attack because the camera was in his face in the morning. Brother, okay, that's cool. Now explain to me why. What's gone on? What's happened? Look, you can't just say I'm sorry, because actually what's happened is that what else is going to trigger you? We need to know what's going on, because fam, if we don't know what's going on, I'm going to trigger you again, and then you're going to be vexed again, and then we're going to be here again. Do you understand? Like, we don't want to be in the same position again and again and again, and that's what will happen. But I don't know. Maybe yours been honest about the panic attack. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he avoided her all day. Like, nah, that don't seem right, fam. Like, do you know what I mean? That doesn't seem right to me. I don't know if I fully believe that he had a panic attack. I feel like that was a cover up. And I'm slightly thinking whether he may be, there may be some. I know screws loose is very rude. That maybe there may be some imbalances within his mind, and there may need to be some mental capacity looked at. You know what I mean? Because that is like an up and a down very quickly. Yeah. Which you have to just kind of be careful of, because those type of people, fam, they can take your roller coasters and make you feel a certain way, man. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a start of him trying to break Taylor down to make her be what he wants her to be. But I don't see that in him, that he's purposeful like that. It's usually calculating and manipulating and very, very conscious when the person does that, when they're trying to break a person down. This just could be that he just can't control his emotions, and that's dangerous. Someone who can't control their emotions, the Bible talks about the fact that, a man who can't control his spirit is like a wall that's been broken. Do you understand? Like, anything can get in, anything can get done. Do you know what I mean? And I saw the communication between them two, and I was not happy. I was like, I'm not feeling this. The end scene where he said, "Just get over it," and it's like, what? Mananch, who are you talking to, bro? Like, listen, we can go right here. We can literally go right here. We'll come around the corner in a minute. You know what I mean? So I think for me, just kind of watching it, I was just like, okay, these are the starts of the birth pains of the nonsense that's going to come down the lane. You know what I mean? This girl was trying all day, trying to get into his face. He's like, literally at the beginning, she literally trying to hug him, talk to him. He was ignoring her. Is that a panic attack? No. Is that a panic attack? That looks like someone is shutting down for me. You know what I'm saying? And doing passive aggressive, silent treatment to punish somebody. Do you understand? But anyway, that was our quick summary. Watch out for the next few videos we're going to be doing around individual couples themselves. Hey, you already know what time it is. Make sure you get your mineral gang ting. Yeah, me. You ain't got the minerals, baby. Like, appreciate you. Stay locked and stay laid in, man.